If we don't want to be shapeshifters, but we do need to communicate differently with different audiences. Like, what does that look like in practice? I'm sure there's people already screaming at their TVs, at their phones, at their cars. So how to adapt your communication without losing your soul, without giving up your integrity?
Boy, what a great question. I think, first of all, be led with the truth instead of trying to figure out how you can manipulate the message. Because honestly, at the end of the day, true leadership should value the message that comes across as a true message. If this is really what's going on, and now look at why, which could be the positives and the negatives, as opposed to going in with those kind of nuanced themes that often people do. So the best advice I can give you is be data-driven and be transparent and say the team either succeeded or didn't succeed, and here are possibly some of the reasons why. So at that point, you feel free to call out on team members and say, well, what do you have to add to that, right? Well, how would you characterize the nature of how we fared? Not necessarily failed. What did we learn? Also, if we succeeded, what factors contributed to our success so that we may repeat some of those same things in the future? Feel free to call on your team. So the message isn't just you delivering something, whether it's upstream or sideways or whatever it might be. And that way you're hoping that you can be more authentic in your messaging instead of, again, being kind of slimy and come across as something that is serving you over and above everybody else.
For this category, we have a little bit of a framework, maybe some guidelines to help. Mm-hmm. We have a 3-point test. Again, we're very borderline about the Cartman 4-point plan.
3.
Yeah, we like 3. We like 3.
Right.
That's right. And the 3-point test is going to go something like this. It's going to say, test number 1, consistently state the facts. So you have facts that you can write down. That was at the center of our circle before.
Yeah.
You have a transparency test. We're not trying to hide the truth to protect people's feelings. I don't know a better way to say that, but basically, would you be comfortable if all the stakeholders heard all of your different versions of messages, or would that make you nervous? That's really the transparency test here.
Right.
And also, like, if meeting notes were automatically constructed by AI of every meeting you're in, and then somebody had the wherewithal to put them all together, would you see different stories emerging? Would your sliminess be revealed? Would the light come on and all the cockroaches scatter at that point? These are the questions that keep me up at night. And then recommendation number 3 is the consistency test. Your proposed action or decision should be the same across all your audiences, which is basically the same as point 2, transparency. So those are 3 things that give you an A in integrity. In my book, anyway, that's it.
I fully agree. And also, don't expect to just be there, right? Quickly, because this takes time, especially if you've been used to manipulating the messaging, right? It takes time to get from there to the other side. So give yourself the time, celebrate the quick wins, etc.
As a product manager, again, if you've got that 2x2 and you have executive stakeholders and you have like users of your software, they both want to know, like, did this thing scratch the itch? Did this feature, or maybe it's a test. Maybe we're testing a market or something like that. Did this thing resonate with the audience? I mean, you're relieving their pain point. That's one way to talk about it. You talk about it in terms of the pain point and how easy it is to relieve the pain point with the feature you just came out. With the executives, it's a matter of adoption numbers or revenue numbers or whatever they care about. In the product management world, it's not difficult to separate these things. They are the same message. It's just the users don't care about adoption unless you're doing a bit of marketing to them and doing some social proof style marketing. 75% of users love that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff is gimmicky to individual users, but to executives, they love that kind of stuff.
I think there are techniques you can use. So, like, for example, if you had both audiences in the same room.
Yeah, the room where it happens. That's right.
Exactly. One of the things you can do is just spin up a simple whiteboard with a dartboard with only like 3 bands. There's the bullseye, the concentric circle around it, and another circle around that, and that's it. Really simple, easy to do in pretty much any tool. And ask the users to put a mark, an X or whatever, in the circle that represents how best their needs were met by whatever you delivered. And just have them do that, not the executives. When they do that, ask them to say, okay, what would it take for us to move that X closer towards the middle, to the bullseye, right? Now the executives are listening to all this. No, you're hearing it straight from the users. And there's no sugarcoating because you're not the translator or relayer of the message. It's the same message that they're hearing. Try something like that. And then afterwards you could talk to your stakeholders or your executives and say, you heard the users, right?
Yeah.
Now, here are ways that we can potentially get them closer to the bullseye. You've cut out so much crap by just doing it in a simple way like that, right? And you're just the facilitator.
Right.
You have no axe to grind here and saying, well, shouldn't it be closer? You're not anchoring them in any way, right? It's just a suggestion, but I think you could do a lot worse.
Integrity, it isn't about using the same words with everyone. It's about ensuring that if everyone compared notes, your story wouldn't fall apart.
Right.
The detective is over here.
Exactly.
Comparing notes. Yeah, and like if you're going to try that 3-part framework, again, look, we're just throwing out ideas. Like I mean, the real idea here is like not to work with people that are ethically limited. So let us know if this was useful to you.